Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Pizza Plus Coffee equals Code. On this episode, we get to talk to a publisher, Blowfish Studios, about some of the awesome games they have coming out soon, including Nine Witches Family Disruption. First off, for people who might not know what Nine Witches Family Disruption is, do you have like an elevator pitch of it for them?
Sure. Let me look here. So Nine Witches is a 2D pixel art action adventure game set in the World War II era, where the mysterious Occult SS division is using an evil curse in a desperate attempt to change the course of the war. It's a single-player game with a dual character control. You'll be able to switch between Professor Krakowitz, who is confined to a wheelchair. He's a paraplegic, but he's able to commune with the dead, so he can go into the spirit world and talk with the dead. And his Japanese assistant, Akiro, are sent undercover to resolve the supernatural phenomena occurring in the Norse town. So Akiro is the one that's able to move and collect items, while Krakowitz, since he can't move around, he's basically the one that speaks with the dead. So that gives you a reason to switch characters. Let's see, what else? Could be 60 colorful pixel art locations, over 40 characters, which range from humorous personalities, which can be crude, sympathetic, gloomy, sarcastic, but it's very humorous and pretty bizarre. There's a lot of toilet humor. But the game is full of puzzle-solving elements, involves sneaking into enemy territory in disguise, solving riddles, finding clues, looking for mystical artifacts. So it's a pretty fun game.
I think the toilet humor gets across to you pretty quickly if you're playing the prologue, and I think within the first 5 minutes I went upstairs, had a problem with my bowels, farted quite loudly. The professors asked me if I clogged the toilet again. It's I definitely laughed multiple times just playing the prologue.
Yeah, it definitely is really prevalent.
For a game like this, obviously the prologue that we're talking about is free on Steam. How do you handle, I guess, the feedback coming back from that?
Well, if there's anything major, like a glitch or anything, we get that to the developer right away, and most of the time they're able to handle that. But if it's just like feedback as far as whether it was fun or not, we also try to address those kind of things, unless it's like something like we'd have to change the whole game. But yeah, we usually want to make sure the players are having fun, and we always take feedback seriously.
As a publisher, what drew Blowfish to this game, or once it was pitched to you guys, what grabbed you?
So I think we have a good relationship with Diego Canepa, who is the head at the Deliver side. And he's had a lot of success in the past with the apps that he's been making. So we thought we'd give him a chance with this game. He had a pretty good pitch, and it was a fit for us. It was basically the budget that the budget was adequate, and the time was right. So it was fit.
So you've probably, I imagine, demoed this a few times or played through it a few times. what's your sort of personal favorite part of this little bit of prologue that people can play through, or aspect of the game that you get to see here?
Well, I mean, I think I'm trying to remember back to when I first played it, because right now it's kind of different since I already played it several times. But I like that almost everything that you walk up to, you can actually look at, and he's got something to say about almost all the objects. So it's pretty detailed that way. I kind of like that you really have to make sure that you check everything, because you don't. There could be like one thing that you're missing, like then you're stuck. But so you have to be really thorough. So that's something I thought was interesting about the game.
Yeah,
and you have to go through and definitely make sure that you looked at everything. And
I definitely took a fair bit of time, as you say, just looking at stuff, being like, oh, what are those going to say when I do that? Especially in like the professor's room for this opening area here, where there was just a bunch of stuff to look at, and most of that was the professor wouldn't be happy if I touched this. And I guess you sort of learn more as you play through why he wouldn't be, and you get the relationship between these two characters in the prologue slowly developing. The full release of the game, have to ask the question: is there much of a firm date yet on that?
there's not quite a firm date just yet. We're thinking about early 2021 at this point.
Okay.
So a couple of the systems we've finished porting already, but we're still working on the PS4 version. So we want to do simultaneous release. So we won't want to release it without PS4. So we're holding off on exporting it just yet.
Typically, do you find that game releases work a lot better if you do release them across multiple platforms to a wider audience like that?
I believe that's it does turn out better that way, and especially when you get the hype and the excitement, and when we do the press release, it all happens together. So we're making sure that it all gets done in one swoop, because otherwise we'd have to do another press release, and the second time around is not going to be as much of a buildup. Because what we do is we have a date trailer that comes out, and that lets everybody know the release date, and then that leads into another press release, which is the launch press release. So that all works together. But if we released it separately, it would it wouldn't have as much of an impact.
So alongside Nine Witches, I know you guys also at Blowfish have a couple of other games that you're exhibiting at PAX Online this year. Is there a particular one of those that you've got your eye on, or are more keen on?
I've pretty much played most of them, so I'm pretty used to them. But I like Projection's pretty cool. Specifically because it's really different from a lot of games. It's had that mechanic where you can actually cast shadows and create platforms with them. So that one's definitely one I like, just because of how unique it is. I'm also excited about Kung Fu Kickball, which at the PAXs that we've been at the last year and a half, it's usually a long line of people waiting to play. And then you always hear people laughing and enjoying themselves when they play it. So we're really excited about that. We think it's going to be one of those games that just grows organically, because people will have fun and they'll always tell their friends about it. and it's just we think it's gonna grow pretty big.
Yeah, I think those types of games, like Kung Fu Kickball, every time I go to a convention, they really seem to do well, even just at drawing the crowd in from wandering around into the booth. And yeah, they seem to, as you say, grow and get that attention pretty quickly. You know whether you've got a hit on your hands or not. But with the projection first light, just to put a little bit of time onto that one, the whole casting shadows aspect of it is, I guess, the core game mechanic. How have you found playing around with that mechanic while you've been playing the game?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, at first it's a little it takes a little while to get used to, but um, it's kind of like when you first start doing something that you've never done, like first time you ride a bike is always really cool and amazing. So you get that kind of first time feeling. So that definitely lasts.
And when you're looking at something like this again, is it the uniqueness that draws Blowfish to a game like Projection First Light?
So there's a lot of things that come into play when we're looking at new games. Not It's whether we think it's going to be fun, which obviously this was. It's budget is a thing. How large of a project is it? Like how much bandwidth do we have? So a lot of things that go into the decision making. But the purchasing was definitely a good fit. And another plus was that they're right next door. So it definitely helps to have the developer right there, and that definitely smooths out sort of the back and forth.
Obviously a little bit harder nowadays, but back in the office days, the before days, seems like it would be super handy, because what typically is the relationship when we're looking at games like Nine Witches or like Projection between you guys and the developer? Are you more hands-on? Are you just sort of sitting back and watching it grow?
So typically we'll let the developer do their thing until the game is almost ready to hand off to us. And mostly what we will do is usually just do the porting, unless the developer has specifically requested help beyond the porting. So every case is its own case. It's not like we have a set plan to follow, but usually all we end up doing is the porting. And we'll let the developer do mostly what they want to do with the game. We will review the game and give suggestions, but they're not forced to do those things. Obviously, we're both interested in having the game be fun and interesting and good. So
just sort of working together as a team to develop the best sort of product out the other end.
Exactly. They're usually very positive about our feedback.
Yeah, I imagine it has to be a good fit from both directions for something like that. You guys have got to be really happy with the developers, and the developers have got to be really happy with you. There's no point there being 1,000,000% friction there.
Right.
That is all of my pre-prepared questions. Is there anything about any of those 4 games that you would like to mention?
Let's see. Just that Let me check here. Projection is going to be releasing on September 29th. So that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, not that far away.
And let's see. Just tomorrow is going to be coming out November 5th. So still kind of close. It's right around the corner. Like you mentioned, Nine Witches still early 2021. And as well, Kung Fu Kickball is also going to be early 2021.
Oh, yeah. And I think most of those have demos at the moment for PAX Online for people to get on and have a play if they'd like to.
That's correct.
And I guess if players are having fun, or if there's feedback they want to give for any of those demos, is there a nice easy channel for them to go to, or just hit you up on Twitter? Or
definitely you can go to our website. There's a forum that you can click into, and there's a box where you can type in feedback. The website is blowfishstudios.com. You can also go on Twitter, look for Blowfish Studios on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Well, thanks for taking your time today.
Sounds good. Appreciate your time as well.